Our big focus this hour, a showdown in Parliament between the centre and the opposition has reached a new crescendo as Anurag Thakur, Akhilesh Yadav and Rahul Gandhi trade barbs over the caste census. As netas bickered in the sansad, a terrible tragedy has struck Kerala. Over 180 people have died due to landslides in Wayanad. Several dozens are fear trapped in the debris as well. Yet the immediate priority of our politicians is caste. This is not all. Just a few days back, 3 UPSC aspirants drowned in dirty sewage water in a coaching centre in Delhi. Yet what occupies the minds of our netas engaging in a caste war on the floor of Parliament? Well, the landslides in Wayanad, remember, did not check caste certificates of those who perished. Neither did waterlogging in the capital ask for caste certificates of students. We're seeing crisis after crisis, yet our politicians are buck passing and point scoring. Joining us at this point is Major General Dhruv Katuch, defence expert. We also have Sumit Peer, political commentator, joining us live. Manasvi Thapar, political analyst, is also live with us. Gautam Mukherjee, senior journalist, joins the broadcast as well. Sumit, let me begin with you first. Clearly, it seems that priorities of our netas are all wrong. What are we seeing around happen in the country and what is being discussed in Parliament?
Uday, thank you for having me on your show. Well, the unfortunate part is you are right. When it comes to Wayanad, who has been the MP of Wayanad? Shouldn't that MP of Wayanad be in Wayanad right now? When it comes to gathering votes and securing his political insurance as a politician, I will run to Wayanad because there's a Muslim majority there. They will vote me to power. Then I will quit the seat, have one Rai Bareli, and then I let my sister contest from Wayanad. But when 160 people are dead and there's a landslides and there is disaster in Wayanad, I'll not go there. I will come here. I will, talk of caste census. I'll talk of all the things which divides the Hindu vote, which divides Hindus into caste, sub-caste, uska caste, caste ka caste, caste mein caste. That is what I want to do. Because look at the numbers. Look, in 2014, BJP got 9% of the total Muslim vote. In 2024, BJP got 8%. Even there has been a 10% fall in the votes percentage which BJP gets from the Muslim. From 8, it is from 9, now it is now 8. Fair enough. And Congress, the Muslim vote share has more than doubled. Policy is very straightforward, Udayji. Consolidate the Muslim vote which you have, divide the Hindu votes, have a few castes or sub-castes or caste ka caste or chota caste, bada caste migrate to you, get that 41, 42% and you rule the nation. Divide and rule is that is I want. If we talk of the caste census, why in Chhattisgarh they didn't implement the caste census? Why didn't they declare the numbers? Why in Karnataka they didn't implement the caste census? They did not declare the numbers. When Baghelji was asked by one of your competing channels, he lost his face. He didn't know how to react to that. So, this is the hypocrisy of them. Rahul Gandhi ji knows now the only way to come to power is divide Hindus and talk of caste. And yesterday, what they got a taste of their medicine, carrying a copy of Constitution on their left pocket and displaying it, Constitution, Constitution, Constitution. When Anurag Thakur gave what he had to tell as an MP, and Prime Minister Modi endorsed him, why don't they counter Anurag Thakur factually? They are saying this is unparliamentary, this is not rude. Because anybody who takes name of Nehru Gandhi Parivar becomes unparliamentary, becomes rude, becomes a threat to the democracy and the Constitution of India. But whatever they say, that is fair enough. Anurag Thakur told you factually, he gave you line by line. He quoted your MP, your ex-minister's book. So why don't you counter Anurag Thakur factually rather than saying unparliamentary, ye nahi bolna chahiye, that this all, I mean, Uday, we all know what they're up to. And when they are getting a reply in their own medicine, and day before yesterday, Rahul Gandhi ji was given Abhutpurva Gyan about Mahabharata in the Parliament. It looked to me that Ramanand Sagar, B.R. Chopra's next Mahabharata will be written by him. Now, when he was giving that Gyan about Mahabharata, where he said, क्या बोला? Kripacharya Kripch बोला, Karan को करने बोला. Usually it was written in English, he could not pronounce it in Hindi. Now you are trying to give Hindus Gyan about Mahabharata, but don't you know Mahabharata was about Putrumo? And if you want to write that so-called Mahabharata in today's time, who will be the Duryodhan, who will be the Dhritarashtra? Who is nobody's guess. And what the book Mr. Anurag Thakur quoted, he told about Duryodhani, Duryodhan. So counter him factually. This is written by your own MPs, your ex-ministers. They are calling you out. They called out your emergency. They told what you do in the emergency. Now you want to get the Hindu faith and say Shivji ki Bharat hai. Shivji ki Bharat mein Musalman bhi aa sakta. Bhai, jab Shivji ki Bharat hui thi, was Islam there? Islam is 1400 years old. What are you talking about? Musalman bhi aa sakta Shivji ki Bharat mein? I mean, even your script is partial. Even you have no idea possibly about Hinduism. You were the same leader who said once, मैं Hinduism में एक शक्ति होती है, अब मैं शक्ति से लड़ने जा रहा हूँ. And today you are talking शिवजी की बारात. भाई शिवजी की बारात में जा रहे हो और शक्ति से लड़ने जा रहे हो. Does the two add up? I mean, that means you are given a script, what Anurag Thakur, parcha aata, parcha padh ke bata dete ho. And you don't know what is written in that parcha. You come with all the emotion and all the song and dance. You want to be seen the cool dude who wants to revolutionize the world, who wants to do this caste census and all. But it comes to your states, you have not implemented it. It comes to your 65 years, you have not implemented it. And when you are countered factually, then you start attacking people personally. What did Renuka Chaudhary said? Ye Thakur hai. Now you are trying to bring the Thakur factor into it. Now who is trying to build the caste in India? And why he has not gone to Wayanad? When such a disaster has happened, because my job is over. मैं तो जीत गया, मेरे को क्या करना जाके? When there'll be a next election, I'll again go and I will try to win the seats from there. Uday, if dividing of Hindus in the name of caste and subcaste is the Congress's agenda, if BJP calls them out on the floor of the house, Anurag Thakur has every right to do that, and Prime Minister Modi has every goddamn right to endorse what Anurag Thakur say. Counter him factually. Tell the people your side of story, but don't get a parcha from somebody who has written in America and you're reading from that parcha where you don't even know where you don't know even the meaning of the characters. And what are Chakravu? क्या होता Chakravu? यार 36 तरह के व्यू होते हैं. Can Rahul Gandhi name 10 of them? Can he name 10 of them? How much does he know about Abhimanyu? I mean, let's not get into that. And he's trying to say Kamal is Chakravu. Kamal पे तो माता लक्ष्मी बैठती है, कमल पे तो माँ सरस्वती बैठती है, कमल पे तो माँ आदि शक्ति बैठती है, जिससे आप लड़ने चले. कमर की आप परिकल्पना चक्रव्यूह से कर रहे हैं. I mean, if you look at it, you will go crazy. You'll jump from a rooftop and say, what is he talking here? How does it add up? But they are trying to use this, and anybody who talks anything about Nehru Gandhi Paridwar becomes a problem. And when he is called LOP, leader of propaganda, why doesn't he answer that? OBC, I don't want to repeat that. What does OBC mean? We all know, Anurag Thakurji told yesterday. Why doesn't he counter them factually? What is this? And when this tragedies are happening in India, you are not doing anything there. You are trying to score your brownie points here, get the TV TRP here, and find a point and a reason to pin down BJP and Prime Minister Modi. If Prime Minister Modi endorses one of his MP's speech, what is your problem? What is your right to deny him that? How can you deny? Counter Anurag Thakur factually. Even the Honorable Speaker told him yesterday, Anurag ji, वो book दीजिए. उन्होंने कहा सर मैं आपको भी कॉपी दे रहा हूँ जितने एमपीओ ने मांगा है. I'll give a copy of that book which is written by a Congress MP and an ex-minister of Congress who has described Congress and Kauravas, who has imagined those Dhritarashtra, Duryodhana and Duryodhani in the characters. So what is wrong? Why do you want to crucify Anurag Thakur? For what? Because are you now saying that if you talk Nehru Gandhi's name, family's name, you will be crucified? If this is the new norm, talk openly. And if this was not about humor and fun, why was Akhilesh Yadav laughing his lungs out yesterday when Anurag Thakur was reading this? Why was everybody in the opposition benches laughing? Uday, these are some pertinent facts out in the media. You cannot deny them and you cannot run away by your responsibilities. Consolidation of Muslim was what happened. Now your phase 2 is to divide Hindu vote and get that 42% and come to power. Well, that's not going to happen, Uday.
All right, let me quickly, in fact, go across to Major General Katoch as well. Major General Katoch, skewed priorities of our netas, and the fact is, Major General Katoch, that as we were pointing out earlier as well, the flash floods, the landslides in Wayanad and Kerala did not see anyone's caste. What happened in Delhi, in old Rajinder Nagar, did not identify a person's caste before that tragedy unfolded. Why talk about caste then in Parliament?
Thank you, Uday. Uday, I think it's a very sad state of affairs as far as India is concerned, when very important discussions which should take part in our Parliament are reduced to this level. It is extremely sad, and why I personally think so is because I belong to an army background from my great grandfather's time, who fought in the First World War till now. We have been my family has been involved in every conflict which the nation has been through. And not once during that conflict, of any of those conflicts from the First World War till date, did we ever talk about caste. Did we ever talk about religion? We were one as a people. It was India. And now post-independence, we only talk of the Indian Army and the Indian Armed Forces wherever we go. We have never asked somebody, okay, what's your caste, or what is your religion, etc., etc. It really doesn't make a difference. And now we have reduced ourselves to the state where you are asking people these questions. But let me elaborate further on this. If you want to ask Hindus which subsect of Hinduism he belongs to, which caste he belongs to, then why aren't we asking the Muslims whether he's a Sunni or whether he's a Shia? If he's a Sunni, is he a Deobandi or a Barelvi? If he's a Shia, is he a 12th Shia? If you're a Christian, are you a Protestant? Are you a Catholic? Are you a newborn Christian? I mean, there are hundreds of varieties, So let us actually categorize each one of them there, and then on their legislator's name we said, okay, this particular chap, his name is so and so, he belongs to this Christian sect and this subsect and this subsect, or this Muslim is a Shia, or this Muslim is a Sunni, he belongs to the Deobandi sect. In the Deobandi, he's further categorized here. I mean, are we reducing ourselves to that level? I think it's a time we must call a halt to this, whereas the Constitution very clearly states that all this must end. And instead of ending, we are trying to propagate it further. But getting down to the tragedy, there are two aspects I want to talk about this tragedy. Uh, the first is about Wayanad. Wayanad was waiting to happen. It is an ecological disaster, and this report came out in 2011 and later on again in 2013. A panel was set up and they gave this report. And the government of the day, they quashed it. They refused to let it see the light of day, because they said it will hurt economic interests. The economy will go down. No, I think these are very specious grounds. There are other ways to build the economy. Why do you have to take the most easy way where it hurts the environment? And later on, when they wanted the report to be made public, the environment minister at that point of time, they belonged to the UP of that time. I think Jairam Ramesh was the minister. He refused to let it come up. They said, no, we will not publish it. We will not publicize it. I think these are very, very dangerous trends by which we are trying to suppress information from the public of what is the national good. Coming down to, when you look at the Delhi tragedy, which has, caught the imagination of the whole country, especially our youth, now we have come down into a perennial blame game. Okay, why has this chap done this or this chap not done that? Uday, I would like to suggest through your channel, there should be a very simple thing. There should be a self-certification given by these people of what they are doing. Now, the advantage of self-certification is, if something goes wrong, we know who to hang. There has to be accountability. And if in this particular case, the builders, one, and number two, the person who is conducting this, who is the owner of that building, and who's conducting the Rao Academy, who's responsible for it. If he had given a self-certification, then, we know who to catch. And there should be mandatory imprisonment without bail for these people. We have to, instead of making our laws more complicated and try to make it so that, it becomes foolproof, in the process, what we have done is we have made the law in such a manner, it is impossible to prosecute anybody. And I think it's high time we started changing those laws, including for the civil services, where the people are fooling around the people on that OBC certificate. Oh, let the individual self-certify. Let him certify that I am an OBC. And if I am caught, I agree that I will go mandatorily to prison for 2 years and pay a fine of 50 lakhs or something. Make the consequences very severe and prevent the people from doing it. Instead of going around the other way and, where after the event, it'll be impossible to actually prosecute anybody. So I think that deterrent value is not there. So I think two things which are required. One, simplify your laws to ensure accountability. One. And number two, I think the parliamentarians need to be told very, very clearly, this is the time of parliament. Please use it. Please use it the way it is meant to be used. Instead of getting into this tutu meme on issues which are dividing India. And I think I would hold the leader of the opposition directly responsible for his attempts to divide India. He needs a great deal of introspection. The people still say that he's an emerging leader. He may emerge after 20 to 30 years. That time he'll be worse than Joe Biden. I don't think that is the state which we want. So a great deal of introspection is required. And I hope our elected representatives who are supposed to lead this country get onto that act. Uday.
Absolutely. Let me also, in fact, take that back across to Manasvi Thapar now. Manasvi Thapar, you heard what Sumit Peer had to say. Sumit Peer attacking the Wayanad MP, saying his priorities are wrong. The opposition's priorities are wrong. Your response?
I feel that these are three different issues which are being collectively discussed right now and also in the parliament, and that's where the confusion is coming on. One is there is a caste census which has to be done or it does not has to be done. That could be a political matter, that could be a socio-political matter, that could be socio-economic matter. That's a matter. It's a matter. And if we talk about the caste census, It was only in 1951 when the first caste census after independence happened, and before that when the Britishers used to do that in the Jawaharlal Nehru regime, it was said that we will not have a caste census. And then the subject was given to the states, that states will do their own caste census as per their own prerogatives. So the idea of that caste census during the post-independence era was to create equality between the castes, so that the resources are being distributed equally, so that no particular caste or a class would get an upper hand over the other. So that was the basic idea. And I feel that if equal representations of all the castes are happening with the limited resources as a large and diverse country as we are, is going to be given to all Indians equally, I think there is no wrong in that. Having a quantitative number of how many people are there and where and what kind of representation is happening for them is a valid thing if that happens. And also talking about the Wayanad landslide, that's also a very important natural crisis which has happened in our country, and it needs to be discussed. So now prioritizing between the basement politics, the Wayanad politics, and the caste politics together will always be a conflict of a discussion. Why do I say that? You have to look at all these three issues in a different angle, in an equally. You have to give equal importance and time to all three topics, and only then you will come out with good answers and good debates which are constructive for the country to move ahead. What is the solution for the Wayanad landslide? So now there are 2 points for the Wayanad's landslide. Is the center right when it says that it has given the information to the state government during 1 week before the landslide, and what was the accountability of the state after that information was received? Who was the officer? Was the chief minister and the home minister of the state equally informed or not informed? And what was their action plan? Why did they let this be that? And we have to be accountable, be it center or state. And in this particular, right, when the home minister is speaking it, we have to believe that the home minister is speaking the truth. And with this basis, what has the state done? Why were not the people moved out of that particular area in Wayanad? So this is a question which the state government has to answer. There is no two ways about it. And having what Sumit Bhai said, that Wayanad MP would be responsible for him, and when he's talking about the caste and Chakravyuh and everything, logically, politically, and in any situation, the MPs are not responsible for state issues and natural crises which happen in the state. It is basically the state which is going to be responsible. You can hold Rahul Gandhi responsible for anything and everything, but it's a state prerogative which the chief minister of the Kerala government will be answerable to the people of Kerala, and also for the 150 plus families who have lost their lives, lost their loved ones' lives during this landslide. And the third issue of the Delhi crisis, which is happening in the country because of the rain, and the three aspirants have lost their life, is so that's an issue which is a pan-India issue. The basements are being taken up by garage holders, by coaching institutes, and lots of other things, and it has not been mandated properly. So this is something which has to be looked out as a policy decisions of all the municipal corporations together. So there has to be a proper white paper on that, and the parliament should be discussing on that front. Now, when you club all this, so it looks like caste is more important than other burning issues in the country as of now. I feel the caste subject is also important, but you cannot be clubbing it together and say that no, right now Wayanad is the most important thing, so let's leave the caste thing out of the question as of now. So you have to take each topic in its own totality, discuss in the parliament, create an understanding. It's for the country. The country parliamentarians, we have voted for our parliamentarians, and they can decide moving forward. We'll not be talking about caste. We'll be talking about whatever is happening in the country, subject by subject and not caste by caste, and we decide that together. So I don't think that debate will be there anymore. So that's something which is a gray area. Why? Because caste discussion is there with the center and also with the state, because the power is in the Supreme in the Constitution of India, given to the state equally to decide their own castes and their censuses in the state list. So this is something which is going to be there. So you as parliamentarians have to come up with the ideas of discussion. You cannot be criticizing just for the sake of criticizing. If someone is criticizing, you have to say that that's wrong or right. What is good for the country has to come out. So that is something which is missing.
Okay. Let me go across to Gautam Mukherjee for his take as well. Gautam Mukherjee, whose priorities are wrong? Are politicians' priorities wrong, or are, the country's citizens' priorities wrong? Because citizens' priorities is clearly infrastructure, is clearly, proper health facilities, is clearly, of course, proper civic amenities, is clearly, of course, proper education facilities. And inside Parliament, though, none of those issues are really resonating, are they? Gautam Mukherjee.
I think what is going on is an attempt to stir up public debate in terms of contentious issues presented in a contentious manner. Rahul Gandhi is working harder than he ever has in his entire life in his role as LOP and trying to find traction with something or the other. He started on caste because it had been raised before during the elections to see if there was any real resonance with the public. As yet, there doesn't seem to be any. On various other issues that he is taking reference to the Mahabharata and so on, he looks a bit silly because he knows nothing about it, and it's pretty obvious, as Sumit pointed out. How long can he keep this up is my question. I think Rahul Gandhi is going to blow a fuse if he tries to work at this rate, because it's just not in his nature. He is trying to, this is the first, if you like, quasi-official job he has in the government as the LOP. They're trying to give him a big house as a recognition of the fact. The first time that he's got in the last 10 years plus more than 50 seats and can actually qualify. His party has got, and nobody else has, in the India Alliance, actually qualify as an LOP. But by and large, it sounds like a lot of disconnected babble. As far as the government is concerned, it's carrying on with its agenda. There is no real disruption. There is all their predictions that this government will not last and will fall apart and suffer from its internal contradictions. That's not happening. I think the next big issue will be the 3 states elections coming up. Prior to that, even I think the 10 seats in UP that are going to by-elections. These things will determine which way the wind is blowing, at least as far as the public is concerned. In UP, unfortunately, there is a bit of internal fighting amongst the BJP walas. The Deputy Chief Minister Maurya is trying to take Yogi on. This is not, exactly desirable from the point of view of the BJP voter, but I think it will come to a resolution soon enough in terms of how these 10 seats go. If they go to the BJP, then that will mean something to Akhilesh Yadav as well and put paid to Maurya's ambitions. Whether the central leadership of the BJP has been fishing in troubled waters in the UP is another point in question. But I think of late, Mr. Modi has stepped into the fray and told them to back Modi and stop this nonsense. I certainly think that they cannot afford to, be cavalier in UP. It is a state that is vital for the next round of wins. And if this is not taken into account and rectified, there will be grave consequences for the BJP and the NDA. Maharashtra, Haryana, all of these states that are going to the polls, if BJP and the NDA are able to effect wins, then they are on track with exactly what they're up to. Will the Congress be able to hang on to its one cash cow, Karnataka? This remains to be seen. As Sumit pointed out, Rahul Gandhi's abandoned Wayanad. I don't think Priyanka Gandhi is going to go there till the Kichad has been removed. If at all, she'll do video conferencing. She'll go to neighboring states. She'll make pronouncements, but I don't think she wants to go there in the middle of a landslide. It is going to queer the pitch for her campaigning, but so be it. Is the opposition getting anywhere? The answer is no. Uday.
All right. Well, certainly, a case of buck passing that is taking place, unfortunately as well, where the opposition, it's not just a failure of the opposition, might I add, it's a failure also of the governments. In the left, of course, blaming the center blaming the left. In Delhi, it's the AAP blaming the LG blaming the AAP. Unfortunately, skewed priorities coming out, and people are facing the brunt of it all. Yes, Sumit P.
Uday, I want to make one quick point. You see, Muslims have 73 firqas or castes. So are we, when we talk of a caste census, are we talking of a Muslim caste census include, or it's only gift for the Hindus? Can any of the Congress leaders make that clear? Because I believe it's a way to break the Hindu society, nothing else. Why Muslim caste census is not talked about? Why about the Christians is not talked about? So that is the question we want them to answer, and the answer is they will never answer this question. Uday, I challenge you on NewsX. Let any Congress leader say in 73 firqo ka bhi census hoga. Answer will be no. They will only talk about Hindus. They will not talk about Muslims. And when you talk about OBCs, don't Muslims get reservation in OBC? Yes. Don't Muslims get reservation in ST? Yes. When a caste
Manasvi, why this buck passing taking place? Okay. I've got your point, Sumit. Manasvi, why this buck passing taking place? Why no one taking accountability or responsibility?
For what?
From Kerala to Delhi.
I think the responsibility is on the state government for sure. There is nothing about it. I don't think there are two ways about it. It's a clear-cut responsibility. Once the central government has given that information to the state government, it is the responsibility of the state government. I don't think the state government could run away. It's a natural disaster.
Yes.
On the accountability front of it, no one can predict national disaster, and no one has the capacity to prevent a national disaster also.
Okay.
Having said that, in terms of accountability, if the information was provided, you have to work on it. If that officer or the ministers have not worked on it, they are definitely accountable. The people will teach them a lesson, and the central has to come out with a proper committee with that information, that have that information be passed on, and the state government has to answer to the people, and this question raised by the Home Minister has to be answered by the state government. There are no two ways about it. You can't let the lives of so many people be let so loose, and 150 plus families have to be answered. And I don't think there is any missing accountability. Sooner or later, the accountability will be fixed.
Okay.
I don't think there are any two ways about it.
Okay, my thanks to all of our guests for joining us on the broadcast.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.